Red Door Shield. Secure everything.
"8:14 in the morning, a property management office on the north side. 14 people. Coffee on, phone starting to ring. The office manager opens an invoice that looks exactly like one from a vendor they pay every month. Same logo, same name. She clicks it. Nothing happens. No alarm, no warning, no sign anything is wrong. She moves on with her day. What she does not know is that the next 24 hours will decide whether this business still exists in 6 months. I want to walk you through that day, hour by hour, because once you have seen how a breach actually unfolds, you will never look at your own setup the same way again. My name is Tony Chan. I founded Red Door Technologies, and in 17 years, I have walked into the middle of days exactly like this one. I am not telling you this story to scare you. I am telling you because almost everyone pictures a breach as a single dramatic moment, an explosion, an alarm. It is not. It is a slow, quiet sequence, and at almost every step, there is a place where the right thing in place would have stopped it. So as we go through the day, I want you to watch for those moments, the forks in the road, because the whole point is this. The outcome of a breach is not decided during the breach. It is decided by what you put in place before it ever starts. Back to 8:14. That click did not download some obvious virus. It quietly handed over a password. Specifically, the office manager's email login. For the next few hours, nothing visible happens, and that is exactly how it is supposed to work. The criminal is not in a hurry. They log into her email quietly, and they do the first thing every attacker does. They read. They read how the company talks, who approves payments, which vendors are owed money, what a normal invoice looks like, the name the owner uses to sign off. This is fork number 1. A stolen password is only the master key if there is nothing standing behind it. One extra step on that email account, and the criminal is locked out at 8:15, holding a password that does not work. There was no extra step. So they kept reading. By lunchtime, the criminal has what they need. They use the manager's email to quietly reset a few other passwords. They move from her account into the shared drive, the accounting folder, the tenant files. Everyone in the office is having a completely normal day, closing deals, answering calls, eating lunch at their desks, and underneath all of it, a stranger is walking through every room of the building, one door at a time. This is fork number 2. Someone logging in from a new location at an odd hour, resetting passwords, opening folders they never touch. That is a pattern. Monitoring sees patterns. If anyone or anything had been watching the network, an alert fires at 12:30 and the story ends today. As a scare and a cleanup, not a catastrophe. No one was watching, so it kept going. End of the day, most of the office has gone home. The criminal sends one email from the office manager's real account in her real voice to a client who owes a large payment. New banking details for the wire. Please update your records. It looks completely legitimate because it came from a real person inside a real conversation. The client does not think twice. The wire goes out the next morning. Tens of thousands of dollars straight into a criminal account. By the time anyone realizes, the money has been moved through 3 banks and is gone. That is the financial hit. But it is not the worst part of this story. The worst part starts at 11 o'clock that night. 11:02 p.m. The office is empty. The criminal has read everything, taken what is valuable, and redirected the money. Now they do the last thing. They trigger the ransomware. Every file in the company encrypts at once. Tenant records, lease agreements, accounting, payroll, years of work, locked behind a screen with a countdown and a demand. And here's the detail that decides everything. The backup was connected to the same network, so it encrypted too. Fork number 3. If a protected offline backup existed, this is the moment the whole attack loses its power. You wake up, you restore, you move on with a hard story and a lesson. The backup was right there on the same network. So at 11:02 p.m., this business has nothing to fall back on. The next morning, 7:30, the owner walks in first, like he always does. Every screen in the office is showing the same message. And here is the moment I want you to really sit with. He does not know who to call. He calls his IT guy, who is good at keeping computers running, but has never handled an active breach. He starts Googling. He calls his bank, who tells him the wire is already gone. He does not know if he is legally required to tell his clients. He does not know if his insurance covers any of this. He does not know if the criminals are still inside. Fork number 4. A response plan would have meant that at 7:31 he makes one call to a team that has done this 100 times, and the next steps just happen. Containment, notification, recovery in order, calmly. Instead, he spent the most important hours of the entire crisis figuring out what to do while the damage kept growing. Here's what most people do not realize about a day like this. The 24 hours are not the end of it. They are the beginning. In the weeks that follow comes the legal notification to every client whose data was exposed. The regulators, the clients who quietly take their business elsewhere because they are not sure they can trust the office with their information anymore. The reputation in a business built entirely on trust that takes years to rebuild. Remember this number from earlier in the series. 60% of small businesses that go through a major breach are closed within 6 months. Not because of one bad morning, because of everything that one bad morning sets in motion. Now go back through that day with me for 1 second. 4 forks in the road, 4 moments where one thing already in place would have stopped this cold. A second lock on the email, someone watching the network, a backup kept separate, a plan and a phone number. Not one of those is exotic. Not one of those requires this business to become a technology company. That is the whole point of this story. A breach feels like bad luck in the moment. It is almost never bad luck. It is a series of open doors, and every one of them could have been closed beforehand. The outcome was decided long before 8:14 that morning. So here's the only question that matters after a story like this. If today was that Tuesday for your business, how many of those 4 doors are already closed? If you are not sure, that is exactly what the free business security assessment is for. We walk every one of these doors against your real business. We tell you which ones are closed, which ones are open, and what to fix first. So that if a day like this ever comes, the outcome is already decided in your favor. No technical jargon, no pressure, just clarity. The link is in the description. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Because next week I am going to answer the question every owner asks me after hearing this story. Doesn't my cyber insurance cover all of this? The answer is more complicated and more important than most business owners realize.
Stop hoping. Start knowing.